Okay, let's just jump right into it. It's the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind in Canada, right? Is it smarter to rent, or is it smarter to buy a home in today's wild market?
For decades, owning a home hasn't just been a financial move. It's been this huge part of the Canadian dream. It's that big milestone, that sign that you've made it.
But that dream is running headfirst into a pretty tough reality. I mean, just look at this number. As of early 2025, the national average price for a house in Canada is over $670,000. That is a massive, massive barrier to entry.
And that brings us right to the heart of what we're talking about today. Is renting really just lighting money on fire every month? Or could it actually be the shrewdest financial play you can make right now? We're going to break it all down.
So before we even touch a calculator, we've got to talk about the lifestyle trade-offs. Because this isn't just about the money, right? It's about what you actually want out of your life.
Let's start with a big one, flexibility versus stability. Renting, you've got incredible freedom. A new job opens up across the country? Hey, no problem, you can just pack up and go. But buying, well, that gives you stability, a real sense of permanence. Nobody's going to come and tell you they're not renewing your lease.
And here's the classic argument everyone brings up. When you pay rent, that money goes into your landlord's pocket. It's gone. It doesn't build your own wealth. But with a mortgage, every single payment you make is building up your equity. It's like you're paying yourself and growing this huge financial asset over time.
Okay, what about responsibility? As a renter, if the roof starts leaking, you just make a phone call. It's not your problem, and it's not your expense, which is amazing. But as a homeowner, you have all the control. You want to paint the walls black? Go for it. Want to rip out the kitchen? It's your call. And with a fixed-rate mortgage, your main payment is predictable. It's not going to suddenly spike.
All right, we've talked about the feels, let's talk about the figures. It's time to crunch the numbers. Because honestly, while the pros and cons are super important, the math can tell a completely different story, and it all boils down to one critical thing: where you live. So here's a handy little tool you can use. It's called the 5% rule. Think of it like a quick back-of-the-napkin test. You add up all the yearly costs of owning that you'll never get back, things like property taxes, maintenance, mortgage interest. If all that stuff adds up to less than 5% of the home's total price, then buying that place might actually be the better financial deal. Let's make that real for a second. Imagine a house costs $400,000. So 5% of that is $20,000 a year. Now let's say you add up all those unrecoverable costs and they come to $19,000. Well, since 19 grand is less than 20, the 5% rule would flash a green light here. It suggests buying is the smarter path. But hold on, a rule of thumb is just that, a rule of thumb. The real world is way messier. To really see what I mean, we're going to look at two actual scenarios in Quebec that show just how wildly the answer can change even within the same province. First up, Montreal. So we're looking at a 25-year period. On one side, you buy a single-family home. On the other, you rent a similar place. And here's the key. The renter takes all the money they save by not buying, so the down payment, the lower monthly costs, and they invest it, getting a pretty conservative 4.5% return each year. And wow, the result is pretty mind-blowing. After 25 years, the renter who is disciplined and invested the difference, they come out ahead by over $270,000. Yeah, in a pricey market like Montreal, the cost of owning is so high that renting and investing can actually make you way more money. Okay, now let's hit rewind and run that exact same experiment, but this time in a smaller city, Drummondville. House prices are lower, rents are lower, but everything else is the same. Same 25-year timeline, same 4.5% investment return for a renter, and look at that. The result is completely flipped on its head. In Drummondville, the homeowner comes out on top. This is the single most important thing to understand. There is no one-size-fits-all answer for Canada. The smarter move depends entirely on your local market. So, we know location is king, but the other half of this whole equation is you. It doesn't matter what a spreadsheet says if you aren't personally ready for this step. So let's do a quick personal readiness test. First question you gotta ask yourself, how long are you planning to stick around? Look, buying and selling a house costs a ton of money in fees. Lawyers, land transfer taxes, real estate commissions. The general wisdom is you need to stay put for at least 5 years, just to have a shot at breaking even on all those costs. Next, and be real with yourself here. How stable is your job? Lenders want to see that you have steady work, sure, but this is really for you. Because when you own a home, surprise costs just happen, and you absolutely need a reliable income to handle them without totally freaking out.
And this one is so important. We all get focused on the mortgage payment, but can you really afford all the other stuff that comes with owning a house? Because trust me, the price you see on the listing is just the opening act.
You've got your down payment, obviously, but then there are closing costs, which can be thousands of dollars right at the start. Then there's home insurance and property taxes every single year. And the big one? Maintenance. A good rule is to budget 1 to 4% of your home's value every year, just for repairs and upkeep. It adds up so fast.
And we've got to acknowledge something here. For newcomers to Canada, this is all even harder. You might be trying to build a credit history from scratch, you don't have local references, and you're trying to figure out a really complex market. It can put up some serious roadblocks.
So, where does that leave us? What's the final call? Well, the truth is, there isn't one single answer. But what we can do is give you a toolkit, a framework to help you make the best call for you. Here it is, your 3-step toolkit. First, really think about your life. What are your goals for the next 5-10 years? Second, actually run the numbers for your specific city, your specific neighborhood. And third, and this is a big one, be brutally honest with yourself. If you decide to rent and invest, do you really have the discipline to follow through?
I think this quote from the chief economist at CPA Canada really just nails it. The world is different now. Our parents' generation played by a different set of rules. For us, the decision is so much more complex. There's no easy answer anymore. The only guarantee is that the smartest move you can possibly make is an informed one.